Hello everyone, it is Pat with our Oracle card reading and message for this upcoming week of June 11th through the 17th of 2018. Okay, hope you're doing well. If you're in the summertime of your year, I hope that you're enjoying the beginning of that. Today our weather has finally improved, but today is a little bit on the hazy side. But I still wanted to come outdoors anyways because it's great to be outdoors. So anyways, let's get on with this week's reading. So I've gone ahead and pulled some cards, or I shuffled the deck and waited for which ones would pop out at me. So anyways, for this week, the angel card, the archangel card that popped out was Haniel, with the message of sensitivity. So what that signals for our week, or heralds for our week really, is that we're going to be, dealing with sensitive issues. Okay, for you personally, it may mean that there's issues that you're dealing with in your life or your own personal growth path that are making you sensitive emotionally, or you may be feeling very sensitive to what people say, to their actions towards you, things like that. So be aware of it and know what that is. Know that's part of what it is. Haniel is an angel of, she has a beautiful, like, bluish gray light, kind of similar to that aura that is around the full moon, okay? And she helps us with our sensitivity, and shielding yourself a little bit with that kind of light can help to buffer it somewhat. But there's answers to the questions in your sensitivity, all right? It's helping you process stuff. So don't be, there's no need to be afraid of it. You might want to give yourself a little bit more quiet and alone time to process things. But just know that you are very sensitive right now, and that's what she's heralding this coming week, to the environments that you're in, the people that you're around. There are maybe some environments that you've been in for a long time, but as you go into them this week, they're just going to feel, very harsh to you or uncomfortable. They may, I'm not saying they will, but so you may notice things like that things that previously didn't bother you, you now find you much more sensitive to. That's what her message heralds, okay? I did pull out a couple of other archangels just to see, to get additional insights into the message, and I got spiritual understanding and courage. So, and I think they represent what we're learning from the sensitivity. We're getting greater spiritual understanding about ourselves and other people, okay, seeing things from a higher perspective. Actually, what he has in this, what's in this image is like the light Merkaba, and you can use that as a protective shielding to help buffer some of the harshness that you feel is around you, okay? And Ariel's here with the courage to face and deal with the sensitivities that are coming up for you, what it is that's making you sensitive. For some people, it might not just be like sensitive issues or emotional sensitivity. You may also be fine that you're feeling with, you have food sensitivities, things like that. Or you may notice that certain foods that you consume heighten your sensitivity. I guess the best example I have of that is, I notice for me, as much as I love coffee and like my cup of coffee or something to wake up my brain in the morning, my body's become very sensitive to it. And I find that it can make me very irritable, things like that. So, or irritable, or just, my heart's pounding, things like that. So it's noticing that there's a sensitivity to that. And that's what Haniel's signaling in this coming week. That might be one type of sensitivity you notice, but it's really in quite a few different areas that I just talked about. So for our cards for the week, I was guided to Saints and Angels, this Oracle card deck. I'm still working primarily with mostly Doreen Virtue card decks. Despite the fact that Doreen's kind of gone in a different direction, I still like her cards and I still resonate with them. So, but I use some other ones here and there, and I will be today too. But all right, so for our week, we had Um, stress management at the beginning of the week. And it just signals to me that the beginning of our week, there might be my sense is hectic. Okay, there's, I mean, this is the beginning of our week. It's Monday. So there's maybe some stuff that's bringing up some nervousness, some anxiety for you, or you're just having to deal with maybe some unexpected stuff. So it's just, there's some stress, additional stresses going on there. So you're going to have to take some steps, additional steps, to manage that. You know, take care of yourself. Maybe do some, I'm very much into the EFT now, emotional freedom technique, the tapping, where you tap on the different points. I find that very helpful for stress management. But, and it's urging you to look at the beginning of the week in conjunction with the sensitivity. Look at how you are dealing with the stresses in your life. Okay, so and the beginning of the week may bring in some experiences or occurrences that are bringing that to your awareness. Okay, middle of the week we get practice. Practice makes perfect. So if you're getting ready for a speech, if you're getting ready to, you know, do something in front of an audience, or if there's just a new skill that you're learning that you're in school for, keep practicing. Practicing is the key. Okay, practice, then, you know, maybe ask for feedback, and then focus on improving those skills. But it says that the middle of the week is really, there's a lot of energy committed to practicing. All right, and this could be even coming in, you know, tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, but it's practicing, a reminder to practice. Okay, and then the last card we get is commitment. So it feels like, you know, we get towards the end of the week that there's, this card has different meanings. So you're committing, it may be about looking at your commitments for some of you. What have you committed your time to? Maybe that's eating up your time. For other people out there, I feel like it's about the commitments that you're making to yourself. Or you may be choosing to commit to a program, and or committing to a person, like in the form of, you know, getting engaged, looking to get married, things like that. Okay, so the energy of commitment, and in this, you know, in this image, she's got the children, and we all have kind of sacred contracts with our children. So it has to do with them and their commitments. Okay, or maybe a commitment that you're making to them. So I'm going to see if I get any more hits of that as we progress with the rest of the reading. But anyways, it has to do with commitments that you're bound into with them or somebody else. Here we go. So I had to stop and bring this video reading indoors because some things showed up outside that were going to be causing a lot of background noise, and it wasn't going to work. So anyways, we finished with the Saints and Angels card that was for commitments at the end of the week. I did pull a couple of quick fairy cards, and there were two that popped out, and one was this one, raising your standards. So with regard to the issues I was speaking of earlier with sensitivity and the stress management, so part of what's going to come of this is that you're going to be looking at expecting more for yourself. Not necessarily expecting more of yourself if you're feeling stressed and like you're already doing a lot, but expecting more for yourself. This is about raising your standards, about that feeling that you deserve more, that there's a better way, that it's about, you know, leaving behind like a poverty consciousness, and understanding that you deserve more, and you're going to raise your standards higher. You know, it's kind of like going for a job where you feel like you deserve to be paid more for what you're doing, okay? And right alongside that came this vacation card. And I think it's very much related to the commitment card that came up at the end of the week. So you might be committing to some vacation time, or maybe you've already made plans and you've already made that commitment. So it's time to focus on following through on it with your plans, you know? So anyways, I also had wanted to tune into the Earth Magic Oracle card decks to get an idea of what's going on with the Earth this week, because there's so much, you know, so many changes and climate-related stuff going on, and natural, you know, the volcanoes, everything going on in Hawaii, and of course Guatemala with their volcano that went off. So anyways, these are some of the cards that came out for this coming week. The first was Ebb and Flow. And I was specifically asking what we need to know about what's coming up or what's going on with the Earth this week. So this obviously speaks to the tides, but I feel like it speaks to the water tables in general, because in that whole Pacific Ring of Fire area, with the volcanoes going off, with the earthquakes that are level 5 and above that have been going off regularly, earthquakes, you know, affect the water table, and so there's going to be things shifting and moving that way. It's affecting the waters, okay? And you know, the volcanic activity and the earthquakes seem to ebb and flow a bit too. I mean, they, you know, a new fissure will open up and surge open, and then it'll die down for a little bit, and then sometimes it'll resurge in a new area. There's an ebb and flow to how these things are happening, but they are continuing. And I also get a sense as I look at it, as the tides ebb on their regular, you know, high tide, low tide cycle, as they ebb away, you know, we're going to see things that are surfacing. You know, maybe large groups of fish or wildlife that are either beaching themselves or showing up as, you know, just showing up on the shorelines, either sick or dying. So there's a lot of washing away that's going on too with this ebb and flow. So there's a lot related to water in this coming week. Okay. The next card that came out was Innocence, and I had a little tough time getting a hit on exactly what this means for us in the Earth, but it's, if you look in the photo or the image, you know, it's like this, the dawn is lighting up a new day. And it's children. It's a reminder of when, you know, young and innocent, and you just, you know, you're in such awe of the outdoors. And it was very innocent and playful and just an adventure. But so you know, my sense is that it's about going back to a time of new beginnings. Okay, lava it's destructive in the beginning, but it creates new ground, and anyways, Innocence is an interesting theme for the card, but the main theme is childhood, and I think, you know, it speaks to a lot of people being in awe of what's going on. You know, we kind of watch these things going on around us with this, like, wow, we're caught up in the magnitude of what's taking place. Okay. Anyways, another card that came out after that was Vulnerability, which I think speaks to the fact that so many of the Earth's ecosystems right now are very vulnerable. Obviously, as the lava spills into the sea, it's affecting those undersea environments, the tide pools and things that are in that immediate area. But this speaks to things that are man-made as well. Man-made contributions, things that mankind has done to contribute to the vulnerability of certain ecosystems, okay? There's been a lot out lately about the level of plastics that are being found all over the place and how that's compromising many of our systems in our oceans because fish and other wildlife are eating them. And anyways, it's that and numerous other things. The Earth systems are very vulnerable right now, okay? And the last one that came out is this one, island and solitude, okay? So I think it speaks more to the fact that most of the activity right now is still going on in the islands, all right? In these islands and these isolated places. You know, Hawaii and most of the activity I've seen is in the various other islands in the Pacific, okay? But pay attention to those islands, all right? Because in and around those islands, there's a lot underneath the water. They look like they're a sole island that's popped up, but there's a lot underneath them that's also becoming activated in addition to what's on the surface that you see. It's kind of like, you know, when you think of icebergs and, you know, when you see an iceberg in the frozen waters, you're only seeing the tip. A lot of times they go down very deep underneath. So, you know, that's what I kind of get as I look at that card. So it'll be interesting to see what turns up for us this week. But it's a lot for us personally, but a lot that's continuing to happen with the Earth as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the lovely comments that you put below. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care, everyone.